George Kilpatrick, inspiration for the nation, celebrating people we feel good about. Cal Corriders is the manager of neighborhood and economic development for the CenterState CEO, the CenterState Corporation for Economic Opportunity. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Cal has a menu of things that your community, our community, that your community, that we need to be aware of. And so, Cal, what's going on? And first of all, welcome, but tell me what's going on and what you need folks to know about.
Yeah. So I guess I want to give a little bit of context as to some of the things that we're working on. We're CenterState, we're a really big partner with a number of different organizations in the government and private organizations, nonprofits around the community. And a lot of these folks are leading some really awesome things. A couple of the things we are directly leading, but I just wanted to provide a little bit of information about some of those opportunities that are one on the horizon, and then two, some of the opportunities that you guys can access right now. Some big stuff kind of on the cusp. So just really quickly, I think it's important to give a little bit of background information about CenterState and what we do. CenterState is the economic development strategist and business leadership organization. We have around 2,000 or so business members that we look to serve in a variety of different ways, and we're really committed to the prosperity of the region. So a part of the CenterState team, there's a few different kind of teams within us, but I'm a part of the economic inclusion team, and we're focused on providing access for low income and underrepresented communities. And we do so in three distinct ways. One is workforce innovation, the other is community investment, and that's the team I'm directly on. And then third would be community engagement and empowerment.
Okay, so let's talk about, I don't want to interrupt you, but you said that your team is economic inclusion, and then you also talked about community investment. So tell me what that looks like if it's working. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I mean, you know the landscape here in Syracuse, high concentrations of poverty, disinvestment in properties. So it's a challenge. And again, that's the team I'm directly a part of. It's a challenge, and we're trying to be really innovative and strategic. But yes, to answer your question, I do think it's working. It is something that takes a long time to develop. I think it's important to kind of not to just put a Band-Aid on the problem, but actually solve the root of the problem, like take care of it at its core. So, and those things just take quite some time. But I can elaborate a little bit on that. So the name, my work specifically is called the Southeast Gateway Initiative. I'm the manager, like the director of that initiative, and it's focused in a small area in the South Side, but we have been doing some things a little outside of just my direct footprint. And we're focused on two particular areas, which is business development and real estate development. So there are a number of different folks who are looking to start businesses and grow their businesses. So we have an Upstart program that's intended to help support and add capacity to those folks. That has changed a little bit over the years, but this is something I do want to ensure that the community is aware of. It's changed over the years, but we have kind of refined our focus a little bit. We are at capacity right now, but we are anticipating sometime this year broadening or kind of opening up that application process again to take on some new clients. So what we're looking for is folks who have a refined business idea, maybe a draft of a business plan. And what we do is we look to, you would apply for this, and I'd be happy to share that information when we're able to, but you would apply. If accepted, you would join into our Upstart program, and we would really take a deep dive into what your business looks like. We can add support with consultants and technical assistants, and really trying to understand what the parameters of your business are, where you might need some market data, some financials, that kind of thing.
Upstart program.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so then the other thing we're working on, or my other side of my work, is the real estate development component. So this is where we are supporting developers who have identified property in the neighborhood. We're working with property owners in the neighborhood. If they have a distressed property that they want to sell or rehabilitate or looking to market for tenants, we help in that space. And then we also look to help folks who are interested in buying or renting real estate to try to understand what their spatial needs are, what might be the best fit for them, how they might be able to rehabilitate a property if they want to buy it, and also working with organizations who are looking to do the same thing. So those are really the two spaces that they're operating in.
When you talked about the Southeast Gateway project, what comes to mind for me is the idea of the Sankofa district. Is that part of your project or not?
That's a little more south. So the Southeast Gateway footprint for me is just south of downtown.
Mhm.
It starts at East Adams and goes to Kennedy Street.
Ah,
So those are
right.
like
So that's
that's the northern and southern border.
and Sankofa's like the right there and
Yep.
then goes from there. Okay, got you.
Yep.
Because when I heard you say about inclusion, what is the barriers? What are the barriers to inclusion? And I because once if we know what those barriers are, then we can include more people.
That's a tough question because there's so many barriers. I guess what I would say to kind of keep it concise is just opportunity and education are barriers. So that's, I mean, I'm very happy you invited me here today, George, to talk
Mhm.
about these things
Right.
because, things happen in bubbles and I want to be sure that we are not operating in that same fashion. So, looking to include folks like yourself and others to kind of just spread the word of what opportunities folks can tap into because there are folks like us. I mean, a ton of the community folks are leading some awesome work and looking to bring in other people. But again, just that educational piece, that lack of opportunity, that lack of access to information is critical.
All right. So what's happening that we would be surprised that's going on? Well, let me before that. So hold that thought because now I want to go back to Gateway. We've heard Southeast Gateway for a long time, and now that you have it, Kyle, we need to see something, right? That's what that's the challenge. So I'm seeing some pockets of things going on over there, right? And is the blueprint connected to the Gateway at all? The Blueprint 15, and if so, how so? And I'm also seeing some pockets of housing development over in that area, but I'm not necessarily seeing the business development, at least in my perspective, in that area. So give us a sense of what's actually going on right now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so I actually a couple years ago when I first started in this role, we did a community tour, and it was intended to give folks an idea of the things that are on the horizon. And the development doesn't happen overnight, George. So you're absolutely right. I want to see things happen, but these things do take time because planning is needed, fundraising is needed, identifying folks who have the capacity to drive this change is needed. So I just wanted to kind of share that, but Blueprint 15 is a huge initiative. No, that's not something that it's in the Southeast Gateway neighborhood, but it's not something that I'm directly leading, but we are a partner with Blueprint 15.
Sure.
So having conversations, they have just begun some community engagement around their master plan to really identify what residents are looking for. And once they kind of complete that phase, they're going to expand to the deeper south to understand what other community stakeholders, what other residents would like to see in the neighborhood, and then think about how they can attract that investment. So we can start to think about what a business on South Salina Street or a business on State Street or a business on Burton Montgomery would look like.
And then we've got the Blueprint 15. So can you talk about what that is just for people because they keep hearing it, but we can't say what it is enough.
Yep. So if you are looking for more information about Blueprint, I would definitely recommend reaching out to Blueprint directly. But what it is in short is they're rethinking the development of the Syracuse Housing Authority's Central Village, Pioneer Homes, and McKinley Manor. And this would be a holistic kind of approach. So yes, they would be approaching the housing infill and thinking about what new housing would look like, but also how can they add other amenities to that development? So like health and wellness, if there's, I'm making this up, but maybe there's a YMCA or some other private fitness center in the area. Maybe there's some social services to help with, youth development and rethinking what Dr. King might look like. So those are all kind of the things that they're wrestling with.
Yeah, and that also has to include what 81 is going to look like, right? Because that's also going to impact you. Because you said we're partnered with or we're connected to, and I know 81 isn't yours either, but it would certainly affect what's going on for you too, right?
Absolutely.
Directly. And when you say Dr. King, we're talking about Dr. King School, just in case somebody's like, wait, Dr. King School, which is right there in the heart of the area that you service. Upstart certainly is something that we need to be thinking about as an opportunity. And does that opportunity mean that you have to, I mean, obviously have to be a member of the chamber to take the CenterState CEO to take advantage of it, correct?
No, that's not true. So our whole economic inclusion team. So we serve as a chamber, George, but we don't see ourselves as the traditional chamber because we are doing some innovative things. But
Mhm.
our economic inclusion team, absolutely not. So I guess if you aren't aware of how a chamber operates, a traditional chamber operates, you pay membership fees to the organization and then they serve businesses. But so yes, we have that component to us, but the economic inclusion team, if you're joining Upstart, we're investing in you. So you don't necessarily have to invest in us. If you so choose to, absolutely you can, but definitely not something a requirement. I actually don't think I've ever had that conversation with any of the businesses that I've been working with, asking them, asking them to pay membership fees. We're really here to serve our community.
What other opportunities exist, Cal? Talking about, by the way, Cal Carter's manager of economic and neighborhood development at the CenterState CEO. Opportunities for you in the community, particularly in an area that he manages, the Southeast Gateway Project, which is south of downtown Adams, bordering at Kennedy. So that little swath of area. And would you say on east of Salina as well?
It goes over to, so the border is East Adams, Kennedy Street. On the east side, it's Almond Street or right where 81 is. And then on the west side, it would be Midland.
Midland.
So that
Oh,
kind
so it
of
does include,
where.
oh, right. So it's jumping
So
over.
Sand Cove is a little deeper south, a little farther south on South Salina. So that district is not in the neighborhood. But again, we have had some conversations with folks who are looking to do things outside of just that direct neighborhood.
So community health center, and that's in your
Yep.
area. Okay,
Yep.
great. So now I get the sense of that. Okay. So what else is going on?
Yeah, you mentioned 81 and us having a laser focus on the economics and workforce in the realm. I did want to mention Syracuse Build really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So Syracuse Build is an initiative that came out of the mayor's office. And in short, it really is something that's intended to develop the workforce in the construction trades in Syracuse, and really focus on helping the underrepresented communities, so Black, Brown communities, women-owned communities, to prepare for jobs like 81 and other developments that are happening in the neighborhood. So where folks here in the city are able to bid on those jobs and have built the capacity to really do a great job in construction on those jobs. So a branch of Syracuse Build, something that was recently released, is called Pathways to Apprenticeship. And this is an 11-week paid program that's intended to get folks who are interested in the construction trade and get them exposure to what the union looks like, get them exposure to actually they would have legal and financial literacy programs kind of embedded in that. And again, it's a paid program. This is something where so they're actively seeking recipients for this now. So I would, Jordan, I know I recently sent you that flyer. So if you're interested in that, I'm happy to, if you want to reach out to me, I can drop my contact information after this, and I'm happy to connect you with some of the folks internally who are leading that work. That is a shorter turnaround time. That application has been out for a little while now. So there's only a couple more days before that closes. So if you're interested, jump on it ASAP.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity, a paid training opportunity for opportunities that are real and that they're right now. I mean, I would say that coming out of the pandemic, which was tough for a lot of businesses, some businesses didn't survive, and we're talking large, medium, and small, and some have retooled to or people have cut down branches of we had two, now we only have one, or we're not going to expand, or we're expanding in a different way, and some people did very well. In terms of other opportunities that may not be present for individuals or businesses, what else should we know?
So there is something that I wanted to share. It's not directly related to startup businesses or existing businesses, but it's something else that's kind of focused on the workforce, which I thought was really cool. Is there's something called, so the Syracuse Surge, which is another city-led initiative that's intended to build capacity in the technology realm for the city. And something that has been worked on in collaboration with some other partners is this initiative called Generation Next. And Generation Next is an initiative that's focused on diversifying and cultivating talent in Central New York. So there have been networking opportunities to really understand who is out there, what jobs are you seeking, and how can we connect you with those jobs. And then a really cool subgroup that was created from Generation Next, which my friend and colleague Marcus Webb is leading, is called Tech and Culture.
Mm-hmm.
He does some really awesome, innovative things with the tech, leading that tech and culture work. There's something called the Tech and Culture Learning Community
Mm-hmm.
that recently came on. And give me 1 second. I want to make sure I'm getting the specifics about it right. It's if you're interested in technology and careers in technology, they're looking for 10 candidates representing Syracuse's diverse communities. And it's a paid 5-day learning experience in the technology world. So this is an opportunity for folks to really get an understanding of what technology is, how they might be able to access various opportunities in technology, and kind of just spark that interest. This is going to take place next month. And I would be happy to give you more information on that. Again, reach out to me when I drop my contact at the end of this, and I'll plug you in with Marcus, who's leading that stuff.
What I'd like for you to do now, Cal, is share with me your own background and how you got to where you are today. What's your education? How did you get to this point?
Yeah, so South Side is in my blood. I was born on Syracuse South Side, went to Corcoran High School, went to SU, and then throughout my career, I had an internship in banking. I was most recently at Pathfinder Bank, where I was doing some residential lending. So finance and economic development and community was always in my blood. I would lead some financial literacy seminars and one-on-ones on how to buy a home. And then seeing CenterState, and some of the things, the really innovative and challenging things that they were working on, I thought it would just kind of be a great opportunity to get my feet wet and jump over and see how I might be able to support the community in a deeper capacity. So that's kind of the short of how I got here.
What were the skills you needed, you thought, to be, what were the skills you thought you needed?
So, and that's a great question, George. And these are some of the things that the work that we're leading is that I didn't necessarily have, I had some basic economic development skills, but not as, I didn't come as equipped as I would have liked or as I thought I would have needed, which is also what we're trying to show the community is that you may not always need the actual technical skills in a role. You can learn those things throughout time, but just being really, I guess, the willingness to learn and really willingness to jump in and not necessarily know everything at first was really critical to my career path.
Well, that's excellent. And you talked about all of these opportunities. Here's what I want to know. And you and I were on a call recently where the thought was, how come we don't know these things are going on? So as an entrepreneur, as a business person, what do you think are the steps I should take to make sure I'm always in the know? Who do I need to just say, Cal, what's up? Or how do I navigate understanding what's coming down the pike? If you know the Hamilton reference, how do I be in the room where it happens?
That's a great question, and something I'm still trying to figure out myself. So I my network is limited. I'm doing the best I can. Definitely by no means do I know everyone and know everything, but I'm happy to be a resource for folks if needed. So definitely reach out to me. But I think just stepping outside of your comfort zone, just kind of keeping it real simple and seeking out these things. And I think now is such an interesting time to digest information because of social media. CenterState has a presence on Instagram. So many organizations have a presence on social media. So just doing your best to avidly seek out those new things and don't just get stuck in your kind of tunnel. To branch out, because there are people and organizations here doing the work and looking for new and talented people like yourselves. So yeah, I'm happy to be a resource though.
All right, Cal, did we leave anything out? Did you give us everything that's going on?
I think
point,
we covered a lot.
We did lots of good. All right, so what's your contact information so people can take advantage of the immediate opportunities like Upstart, Syracuse Surge, and of course the Syracuse Build apprenticeship that is coming up right now?
Yeah, so the best way to get at me is my email. So it's my first initial and last name. So it's Corriders at CenterState, all one word, CenterStateCEO.com. And I'll give it to you one more time. So it's CCORRIDERS at CenterStateCEO.com. Hit me up, please.
Hit me up. Hit me up. Manager of Neighborhood and Economic Development. That's Cal Corriders, Center State CEO. See Corridors at CenterStateCEO.com.
You got it.
Thank you, Cal. Inspiration for the nation. Always seeking to provide you with the best in opportunities here in CNY.